Welcome to the new world, as it's always been. I'm David Stewart Klein. I'm a visual artist and a musician-composer. This is the Tag Gallery, and this is my solo show. I didn't think the world was gonna fall apart, but I always thought it would end. My work is already so much about kind of capturing the subtleties of the human experience and the body's slight gestures and subtle things that make up a person's facial expressions. I really got the opportunity to react to a global crisis and also just capture something small like someone having to go to the grocery store is a really big deal these days. Maggie is my COVID character. I designed her specifically to endure my version of the COVID universe in my art. Maggie has a lot of eyes on her face. She has her two main eyes. But then she also has eyes looking in almost every direction, and each eye really represents a different train of thought, and essentially during this time a worry. Maggie Goes to the Market is actually her right after she got out of the checkout line. One eye is actually suffering with the physical elements of having a mask. You have the mask literally pulling and irritating her ear, and a part of the mask broke off. You have her skin that's irritated and red almost everywhere in her body, is highly chafed, depicted as if it's raised like the flesh is coming off. You have these kind of common issues that we're all dealing with now. There's a very, very, very intense social dynamic that is happening right now in this country, and I'm trying to talk about that. We have another piece called The Cause of Death. It's actually the last piece I made for this exhibit, and to me it culminates all of the work in this show technically and conceptually. It's focusing on an experience that I had driving up the coast, and I saw about 30 people walking on Ocean Avenue without masks. I started to envision a direct divide between the reality of living inside as an old person who does not have much physical capacity to defend themselves, and then you have people who are only concerned about their own right to free will walking outside. More important than anything for me to have the viewer take away from my work is almost the opposite of what they can get anywhere else. You'll be able to be engaged in a way that is not an instant gratification moment. It does take a moment to analyze and to react on a visceral level to my work, and I feel like I demand that of the viewer because of the kind of work I make. I feel like I'm always trying to find the new thing that's inspiring me. I'm always trying to find a new kind of inspiration and experience that's going to drive my work. Each piece is actually a pretty unique version of whatever I'm trying to say in a bigger body of work. when we talk about scale, small versus large, I do a lot of small work because I want people to have to walk up to it. I want them to have to put their face in it and start to appreciate the qualities that I'm introducing to them, whether it be the qualities of the face, the shapes, the colors that induce moods in these characters. The larger pieces are meant to actually bring you in to the environment more. You're entering a space that I'm creating and that I've made it my consistent life goal to continue to find new ways to express how I actually feel as I'm living my life. So to me, this is the visual version of that. As time went on and I developed my sensibility of what felt right in the composition, it became more about portraiture, and it became less about the energy and more about the energy within a person. Often they're very small, intimate portraits, and it's because I want people to get right up to them and get that sense of closeness to the person themselves that I'm representing. I feel like we're dealing with suppression a lot. Everybody's in this society is physically suppressed. In general, my work and me as a person, I try to do a lot of work socially with people feeling like they can't express themselves. It's something that I've struggled a lot in life because I feel like people already don't feel comfortable just genuinely saying how they feel in any given moment. So in a way, my art is also tackling the kind of initial fear of rejection. It's almost like I'm completely making each figure vulnerable so that it's already too late. You don't have to hesitate. When you walk up to the figure, they're already completely who they are. They've presented themselves. Welcome to the New World has to do with surviving COVID. It has to do with how I envision people hopefully being friendly, reaching out to you. You're not judging them on how they look anymore. You know that this is a new chance, and he's gone out of his way just to help you. As much as my work now has elements of angst, and I'm sure there's a loneliness to this, I think I don't see that as the whole picture anymore. To me, you can express darkness in a lot of ways, and it doesn't necessarily need to lack color. I think the layers of sadness of life are not black and white. I think they are not necessarily gray either. I think sadness comes in every color, and it does not reserve itself for any one type of person. So to me, each painting can easily have the room to express a multitude of emotions. I've embraced more of a softer color palette, like pastels, a lot more. I find that I enjoy more playful color palettes in that sense, that it doesn't necessarily have to be bold. You can mix bold with soft. You can mix soft with vacant. You know, it doesn't have to scream at you. You know, I think you can have a tremendous amount of emotion in ways that you don't expect. My dad retired when I was 14 from conducting, but pretty much the entire time before that, I was sitting at all of his rehearsals drawing. And before I really started composing around 14, all of that music was stirring inside of me while I was putting the pencil to the paper. And it had a very deep impact subconsciously on my sensibilities, both as a songwriter, composer, and also, I'd say, the way I move the brush and even the pencil. Sometimes I find myself mark making in rhythm if I'm listening to music. The imagination and the fantasy, it has everything to do with the art making. Things absolutely have to go through an internalization process before I get to the final product. And that means that it goes through all of my senses, it goes through my mind, and then it goes to my hand. It's not just about the making, it's about the development. So it's almost like a standard to me that I create something that means something. So I have to make a statement with all these pieces for me to feel fulfilled.